Yeah. Thank you, Klaus. Thanks all for this opportunity. Maybe a couple of words also about myself. My name is Enrico Spinelli. My biography, probably the one that you had, was a bit old because now I'm working for the ESA bus program. And today I'm delighted to be with you and explaining what our program can offer to the transportation and logistics sector. I have prepared the presentation for today. Thank you. So first of all, maybe a couple of words about ESA. ESA is the European Space Agency, is Europe's gateway to space. We are an intergovernmental organization composed of 23 member states, being Finland one of these 23 member states, totally separate from European Union. And we were founded more than 50 years ago with the purpose to foster cooperation among the different member states on space research, space technologies, and space applications matters for peaceful purposes. We have several sites across Europe. The headquarters is in Paris. The largest facility, called ESA ESTEC, where ESTEC is the European Space Technology and Research Center, is in the Netherlands, where I am actually based. Now, what do you picture when you think of space? Most of people would picture launchers, so rockets sending satellites in space, would think of the International Space Station with astronauts, would think of complex satellites and space infrastructure for different missions like exploration of the universe, Earth observation, and so on. And actually, ESA, together with European companies, designs and develops complex space infrastructures and missions, what we call upstream. But not everybody is fully aware that space technologies can also support a number of applications on Earth for the benefit of all of us, what we call downstream. And for example, applications for precision farming or for green energy, but also in the transportation and logistics domain that we will tackle more deeply today. You may be wondering how. When we speak about space technologies, typically we refer to three different types of technologies. The first one is satellite communication systems. These systems provide ubiquitous connectivity, complementing or providing connectivity also when there is no mobile connection. Thanks to satellite communication systems like, for example, Iridium, Starlink, Viasat, and others, it's possible then to connect people in very isolated remote locations or collect data from in situ sensors that are located in remote areas as well. And they support applications from Internet of Things, so narrow bandwidth, up to broadband. The second category of space technologies we refer to usually is satellite navigation systems like GPS, Galileo, or related augmentations, local and regional ones, that allow to localize goods and people on Earth with an accuracy that may go from meters down to centimeters. And these systems allow for a number of applications in the transportation and logistics sectors, from mobility, support mobility of people and goods, tracking of resources and goods, just to name a few. The third and last category we usually refer to about space technologies is Earth observation systems and data. These systems allow to take images of Earth and so to allow a monitoring of Earth and its own infrastructures. Typically, this monitoring is done effectively at a large scale and periodically. And a number of applications that can be supported are, for example, assessment of green index, of pollution of waters, and so on. There are many different providers of images from space. Some of them are public, like the Sentinel data from Copernicus missions. Others are from commercial providers. Now, we have prepared a small video to explain how the ESA program BAS, Business Applications and Space Solutions, support the downstream sector. I will now launch it, and hopefully it will be visible and audible by all of you.
Ever thought about using space technology to launch your next business idea? At the European Space Agency, we're not just about astronauts and space exploration. Our satellites underpin everyday life, from traffic management and secure connectivity, even in the most remote areas, to water monitoring and environmental conservation. And as part of our mission to bring space benefits down to Earth, we want to transform your business with satellite technology and data to tackle some of the world's most pressing challenges, whether it's protecting the oceans, managing urban growth, or leading the energy transition. Space could be your solution. The European Space Agency's Business Applications and Space Solutions Programme has awarded contracts to over 1,000 businesses and counting, investing over 500 million euros so far into space-powered projects through our European-wide innovation programme. From small startups to large global brands, we support ventures of all sizes, with funding starting from 60,000 euros with no fixed upper limit. We've supported projects using satellite data to tackle water shortage issues, establish microgrid energy stations in remote villages in India, survey whales from space, and monitor and report harmful methane emissions around the world. Not only will we fund your project, but we'll offer you technical support, business mentoring, and access to our global network of partners and investors. Plus, you'll gain the credibility of the European Space Agency backing your brand. We work with potential customers to define and develop funding opportunities across multiple sectors, including transport, healthcare, agriculture, smart cities, education, and the environment. Contact us today to discover the best way to apply. Propel your business to new heights with the European Space Agency.
Well, this was a video explaining at high level what we do. Maybe I spend a few additional words. So BAS stands for Business Applications and Space Solutions. It's an optional program of ESA, meaning that the ESA member states decide the level of financial contribution to this program on the basis of their national industrial interests. They invest in our program as they want us to help companies of their countries to grow. And to grow, and specifically to develop innovative and commercially sustainable applications using one or more space technologies in any market sector. They want us to help companies to get to a sustainable business, so to generate new jobs, to enable stakeholders in the different market sectors to work in a different way, more sustainably. So this is our mandate, to generate a return of investment to the countries that invest in our program. In this slide, you can see all the market sectors where we have been helping companies to develop innovative and commercial application services powered by space technologies. Transportation is one of the key market sector where we have supported activities, along with energy, as well as financial and agriculture. What do we offer concretely to companies? So we offer zero equity funding to any company from startup up to large enterprises that is based in one of our member states and that want to develop a service that answers truly user-driven needs, may give to the company a profitable business, and is enabled by one or a combination of space technologies. Let me clarify a number of points. So for us, the space technologies are to be seen as an enabler along other technologies and techniques like artificial intelligence, machine learning, or others. They're an enabler of an innovative service. Our focus is not to support companies to do research and development only. We want companies to develop something that can compete on the market stage. They have to develop something and validate a service that can be sold in the market, that can give them a sustainable business in the short term. And what do? We have an open call for proposals that is permanently open. So it's up to companies to propose activities, ideas of the service application powered by space that they want to develop and validate. And we, as the activities are close to market, we typically co-fund activities. Co-funding is in general 50%, but for some countries and for companies up to SMEs, so small and medium enterprises, the co-funding can go up to 80%. While the companies applying to our funds must reside in one of the ESA BUS member states, however, the market that this company target can be anywhere in the world, because the idea is to help European companies to grow. We don't only offer co-funding, we also offer coaching on technical and business matters, but please bear in mind that from ESA we are just facilitators, so we don't provide specific technologies or ask companies to use specific technologies. We coach companies with questions, so to make sure that their business proposition is sound from a technical and business point of view. We have developed an incremental interactive project process where companies submit a pitch to us, typically in 8 pages that describe what they want to do, why they want to do the service they propose, and how. And within 2 weeks, we usually provide feedback. Yeah, it's a good idea. We need to discuss a couple of points, or no, this is not acceptable. And then if the idea is good, then we guide the companies through first the procurement process and then through the implementation of the activity. The intellectual property rights remain with companies. This is very important. And of course, if companies work with us, they can associate also their name to the ESA brand. We offer 2 schemes, feasibility studies and demonstration projects. So companies may propose to develop their service either through a feasibility study or a demonstration project. It depends on the starting point. If the company has a clear idea of the service that they want to develop and validate, they have a number of potential customers and users interested in this service, they have a clear business case that gives them profitable business in the short term, meaning between 1 and 5 years in the commercial stage, and there is a clear use of space technologies, then they can apply for a demonstration project where basically they go and finalize the design of the service, they implement it, verify it, and through a pilot stage, they validate the service with the pilot customers and users on the field. And the idea is that by the end of the demonstration project, the company is able to sell the service. 50% of the cases are a success in the sense that companies are already able to sell the service before the pilot stage concludes. And in this case, we are really happy because we have helped companies. If the starting point of a company is a bit less mature, meaning they have identified the business opportunity, they have identified the market, but they still need to, they have identified the clear use of space technologies, but they still need to verify the technical and the commercial viability of their service, they can propose a feasibility study. Feasibility study starts with greenfield. Some homework has to be done by companies. And I always invite companies to do a bit more of background work and get ready to do immediately a demonstration project, because this gives them the opportunity to go to market quicker. Feasibility studies typically are between 9 months and 1 year, demonstration projects between 1 and 3 years. It all depends on what is the service that is proposed. Some important key takeaways, and then we will dive into some concrete examples, so to make clear the type of applications we support. So we said that one of the companies that can apply to our funds must reside in one of the ESA member states. These companies are typically the one that will implement and then provide commercially the service. We call them service provider. Now, if one company, for example, a Finnish company, is a service provider and has all the capabilities on its own to implement and validate and derogate the service, they can apply on their own. Otherwise, they may ally with other companies, even from other ESA bus member states in small consortia, if this is needed to deliver the value proposition. The market, as we said, can be anywhere in the world upon justification, and there must be a commercial opportunity in the short term. Typically, the service provider makes a proposal that is to be supported by a number of potential customers and users interested in the service, and also in the future in buying the service. At these links, you will find a way to apply, but feel free to contact me if you have also other questions. Examples of activities we have supported in the logistics and transportation sector. The first example I wanted to bring to your attention today is a service developed by a consortium in UK led by Skyports, where basically they have implemented and validated a service to deliver via drones medical supplies and samples to rural islands in Scotland that were, let's say, not really well connected. This service was developed and validated during COVID times, where we may all remember all the complexity in moving. But actually, it proved to be so efficient that now it's an integral part of the UK national health system. And this service, enabled via the drone, is facilitated by the use of space technologies, because satellite navigation allows the drone to navigate, and satellite communication provides connectivity between the ground control station and the drone. Another example regarding logistics is ITO. ITO is a project we supported some years ago, I would say, from a German company called Teleretail, where they developed an automated delivery service with courier robot for urban and suburban logistics to deliver products, spare parts, and this also was used in industrial parks and areas, and was enabled mainly by satellite navigation. Other example in the now for shared mobility is Tandem from a UK company. Tandem developed a solution to allow for shared mobility for people that live in area where there is no public transport. Satellite navigation systems is instrumental for route matching, to understand where to pick up people for riders and help into the navigation. And this has been used in several UK cities that are not greatly connected by public transport. Another example that may be of your interest is ITS Equant, Intelligent Transport System. This is an intelligent platform that was developed by the company to ingest road and vehicle data in order to predict and manage incidents, crashes. And this was also to enable improved maintenance as well as emergency support. Different type of data were ingested into this platform, from navigation apps, connected vehicles, CCTV systems, and other sensor data. And the use of space was mainly in the vehicle-derived satellite navigation data, and the use of SATCOM, satellite communications, to transfer CCTV data when there was no mobile connectivity. This solution was piloted by some cities in UK and today, and also, for example, Milton Keynes Council. Another example is Samoloop, that stands for Satellite Monitoring for Logistics Safety. Here, the Belgian company Ovinto developed a platform that can be installed on rail tank cars and allow the tracking and the monitoring of the transport of dangerous goods from source to destination. At the beginning, they just developed a simple track and trace service. This evolved over time and now allows paperless transactions in the shipping of petrochemical goods, which is extremely complex because you may not imagine, but in this type of shipments, up to 17, 20 stakeholders may be involved, and having paperless transaction, having the capability to issue an invoice as soon as let's say, the goods are delivered at a specific stakeholder, this gives an incredible added value. This service is today used by 23 major chemical companies in the world. You can see in the slide names like Ineos, Evonik, and was enabled through the use of satellite connectivity and satellite navigation that allow an ubiquitous localization and connectivity of the goods. Another activity in the logistic domain is Simplify. Simplify was as a service developed by a Belgian consortium that to speed up the unload of dangerous goods from ships to ports. Typically, samples of these payloads have to be assessed, analyzed in ad hoc laboratories before clearing the unloading. And typically samples are sent via road, which takes time, and the use of drones to transport cargo samples directly to the laboratory accelerates all the unloading operations. This again as a service enabled through the use of satellite navigation, also satellite Earth observation for planning purposes. It was piloted in the port of Antwerp, where today is on daily use. Other example on ports is an activity, is a service implemented by a French company called Blue Pulse, Maritime Port Container Activity Zones, where they use the satellite Earth observation images to provide a mapping of the different areas of a port. This mapping is extremely important also to support additional services like, for example, the capability of tracking certain containers on specific areas of the port. Are they in allowed areas? Are they before, after customs, and so on? And this was here you see an example for Singapore terminal's reefer flow, mapped over berth, dry reefer storage areas. But actually, if I remember properly, this has been used by tens and tens, maybe even hundreds of ports. The last example I wanted to bring to your attention today is still on ports. It's about a digital port platform where another company, Sina, in this case, developed a solution to optimize the operations, to improve the efficiency of ports operation, and also to minimize the environmental impact of ports. For example, through the use of navigation and satellite communications, it's possible to predict the time of arrival of vessels. Through the use of Earth observation images, it's possible to monitor the water quality, and all of this enables a number of port business intelligence services. Here you see in this slide all the ports that supported this activity. We have hundreds of activities. We have been supporting hundreds of activities from bus side, and you can find all of them in this web link. Now, so far I have discussed what we offer to companies, right? So funding, co-funding, and coaching, and notably. But as ESA, we are aware of the potential of space assets, but we don't know all the needs in the different market sectors. So from time to time, we contact potential users or customers in the different sectors: energy, maritime, transportation, finance, to understand what are their needs and discuss possible cooperation, to discuss how far space technologies could help addressing those needs, to trigger new industrial solutions enabled by space according to their needs, and also to disseminate about what are the existing solutions. And here you can see some of the partners we have in different sectors. In some specific areas, we have established task forces. In particular, we have 4 task forces already established: energy, smart and green cities, maritime, and bioeconomy. In these task forces, we have members that exchange on us on their needs and can help us triggering solutions enabled by space according to their needs. For example, it's possible to gather needs on a specific topic across several members and then collect them in thematic calls that we can issue for a specific period of time to trigger industrial response accordingly. In the maritime area, I am creating, together with my colleagues, a ports working group. And early next year, we would like to launch a new logistic task force, and we would be delighted to have Limo as one of the key members of such task force. In this previous slide here, I will share all the slides with you. You can click on these links to have access to the web page about these task forces. But if you want, for example, an overview also of the bulletin on energy and on maritime, you can scan this QR code, and you can also look at the green dossier and the societal dossier that are grouping the value of space across the different market sectors to support green transition or to provide societal impact. Said this, here you have the link to our program, my contact details, and the list of ESA BAS member states. And I'm available for any question and at any time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enrico. It was very nice presentation. And if I start about the questions, you mentioned that it depends cases how big percentage it's possible to get funding. But I'm wondering that what kind of support percentage can receive by non-profit associations like Limo? Is there any difference than corporations?
Yeah, I think it depends. So first of all, it depends if we want to establish a cooperation to identify, for example, for the task force, to identify needs and so on. Typically, the members in the task force work with no exchange of funds. There is a common interest on developing solutions for specific areas. Then, now, considering an application, I think it's important to understand what would be the value chain and what would be the service provider, who would be the potential customers and users, and then what would be your role within this value chain. And then we can discuss. Typically, the potential customers and users are not receiving any funding from ESA because, of course, I mean, we look for genuine interests from potential customers and users. So we just help the co-funding. Then we need to discuss also NGO might be involved somehow in consortium, but it depends really on what is the service to be put in place, what is the value chain, and then we can discuss.
Okay. Thank you. I think the Hannu, please.
Okay. Can you hear me?
See?
Yes,
I can.
Okay. Thank you very much, Enrico, for your great presentation. And I think we definitely gonna exploit and utilize this presentation via Limova web pages, because I really see, or I couldn't see any Finnish companies in your presentation. And first of all, Limova's role is to get startup and small and medium businesses, of course, even bigger companies, to be active and innovative. And is my stomach feeling right that Finland is not that much active, or is it that your examples, what you showed, and the companies who are involved in your ESA activities, I couldn't see any Finnish companies. Is that something that is missing, or what is your feeling, Enrico, in this area?
Yeah. Thank you, Hanno. Very good question. So Finland is one of the ESA bus member states, and we have helped some Finnish companies to develop services, but not in the transportation or the logistics sector. That's why today, being the focus more on logistics and transportation, I provided examples from other non-Finnish companies. Thanks to Limova, we hope that we will be able to outreach to Finnish startup or SMEs. Actually, SMEs we believe are the most suitable companies to develop to benefit of our funds, because also they have capacity, typically, financial capacity to co-fund their own part and to deliver commercially a service. ESA may provide support up to 80% in some countries for SMEs, and this means that the remaining part is to be made available by the company, and the company may have cash, may have a loan, or may have, for example, an investor behind. And sometimes we see that startups have maybe great ideas, but struggle a bit in the financial capability they have for their own co-funding. So this, we are open to all ideas, and it would be great if thanks to Limova, we may outreach to service provider in Finland wishing to develop a space-based solution. Consortia can be also international. The market can be anywhere. So we look forward to new Finnish activities. And maybe also to explain a bit the process. So it's true that companies apply to us and we manage the proposals and then the activity implementation. But we can support companies if we also get a sort of authorization of funds from the ESA member state where the company resides. So for example, if a Finnish company applies to us, we work with them, but the Finnish company is invited to contact the Finnish delegation to make sure that the delegation supports their idea and authorizes us to grant funding to the company. So I will then explain offline to interested companies the process, but the bottom line is that they apply to us, and if the idea is good, we help them.
You mentioned about this medical service. It's in the UK.
Yeah.
By drones. In Turku, next to Turku is archipelago. It is could say that it's biggest archipelago in the world. There are more than 100,000 small islands, and there are living people. Not all. There are some very small, but yeah, they are still living much people. So this medical service, even this UK company have got money from you about this, but is it possible that same kind of project is starting in Finland?
Absolutely. So the idea, our intention is to help companies to develop a sustainable business using these technologies. So if there is a company in Finland that has identified the opportunity, the service opportunity you have mentioned, and is able to show that they have traction on the market, that by implementing this service, they get a sustainable business in the short term, and they have a number of potential customers and users supporting them, this activity becomes eligible to our funding. For us, innovation is important, but innovation is mainly in the sense that we try to understand from companies what are their unique selling points. So if a Finnish company is able to show that with their own service, they are able to address some market needs that no one else is addressing, or that is addressing market needs in a different way with added value, and customers would buy that solution, then this becomes eligible. Okay. And if you are aware of these companies, let's say, please feel free to connect them to me, and we can explain how we work.
Yeah, good. Because I know one the company, and I will tell them about your regards.
Yeah, absolutely. We work in direct negotiation most of the times, because of course, just to be very clear, when we have first chat with the companies at the beginning, maybe I can guide them in the sense I can understand if the eligibility criteria are there. Then they have to submit officially their pitch to us, and this will be assessed officially. If that is good, then a person, a consultant from ESA is assigned to the activity and will work with the company through the proposal stage first and implementation later, if the activity is supported. And so at the very beginning, the contacts are more in terms of explaining the process and the eligibility criteria, but then there is more coaching if the idea is selected. So feel free to connect me.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Any more questions? Hannu?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sure.
In one of your slides, Enrico, there was you mentioned tracking resources and goods.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that this sea freight and harbor activities are one focus area, and there I was picking up that tracking containers and that's one part. But can you mention any other solution if I consider a container as a good or big piece? Is there any other solutions for, how to say, smaller particles or than container, or how you see it?
Well, yes, tracking and tracing is not. I mean, there are many solutions for tracking and tracing. What I have described, the activity from Ovinto, was specific to the rail tank cars for petrochemical goods. In that case, the platform had to be very special because when you transport dangerous goods, you have many constraints, even radiation constraints that have to be met. So that's why they developed a specific platform in line with those specific use cases. But there are many already available on the market solutions for tracking and tracing of smaller items. And again, I think the innovation is more in the implementation of a service that makes use of these track and trace technologies. So, yeah, I hope I answered to your question.
Any more questions? If not, I have one more.
Yes, please.
As you know, situation in Europe, Russia, how the Russia works, it's not so nice about if you can think about aviation or maritime traffic. And there are some solutions which can, let's say, set up local TNS systems. So they have like balloons. They set up the balloons like 1 kilometer or 500 meters, and they get very specific TNS systems in locally. Is this kind of let's say project in your field?
Yeah, it depends. So again, if a company has identified an opportunity to develop a sustainable business, then in principle we are open to any idea. We do not support applications that are for military purposes. We may support applications that are for dual use. This is important.
Yeah.
We support application for increased resilience. This is okay. But in general, so I always try to stress that there is not an ideal application from us. Okay, we don't want to see specific things. We just try to understand if the proposals from companies are credible. And credible means they address a number of items that have to fit all together, and there is no specific explanation for that. I mean, we need to see basically if the idea maybe on market is competitive, what is the differentiator, the added value, what are the user needs and what are the pains and gains, what is the use of space, what is unique, the starting point. I mean, there are a number of what is the business case, is this credible? I mean, there are a number of elements, so in principle, any activity that is not purely military can be supported.
Yeah. It's not the military, but let's say that in east part of Finland, this is sometimes problem nowadays.
No, I understand. Yeah.
And even civilian traffic is there are problems, and same kind of problems are in Estonia, Latvia, Lietua, Poland.
No, I understand. So if companies are able to develop a space-based service to address these civilian or dual-use needs, then these may be eligible. I mean, of course, it's always difficult to speak in general terms. We have to see concrete specific cases.
Yes, yeah,
that's
for sure.
Why a first dialogue maybe may help to see if the minimum eligibility criteria are there.
Okay, thank you.
If there is no other question, maybe I can take the chance. So, Klaus and Anu, we are indeed proceeding with the establishment of this task force on logistics. I understand you would be interested now in being a member. And if so, then I can share offline the terms of reference and the letter of intent, let's say, so that you are aware. And the objective of this task force is basically to discuss needs in the logistics sector, also for resilient infrastructure, and try to trigger new activities for space-based solutions. Addressing such needs, and also to disseminate what exists today as space-based solutions, so to boost their impact and make sure that all the communities are aware. So then I will share offline. That's all.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yes, very good.